Us Taichi guys suck balls, man.
I'm just a fluffer.
I'm not listening to anything you say.
As the founder of the West End Sunday Push Hands meetup, the Grand Poobah and all that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your background and what interests you in this eclectic practice of push hands?
Well, I guess a bit about my background. I started learning some Tai Chi probably when I was about 17, and from a teacher in the USA. He was a Wu style teacher, so he taught a bunch of different types of martial arts, and he sort of had a brief I'm not good at this. He had a section of his class that was push hands oriented, so that was kind of an introduction for me. And I studied with him for a bit, maybe a year or two, and then at the same time I was studying Indonesian Chinese martial art, which I did for about 7 years, and then I went and studied massage and went on to study Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And while I was in China studying my final semester, I learned some Tai Chi there again, and then, but that was more like the Beijing style. And then when I came back and I practiced acupuncture for a while and kind of dabbled a bit here and there, and then went on to study chiropractic, and I learned some Yang style Tai Chi at the uni gym, which was great. And then when I finished that, I wanted to learn more, so I wanted to study Chen style. So I found a Chen style teacher who is now my Kung Fu teacher many years later, and started learning Chen style, and he introduced me to practical method, Chen style Tai Chi.
So we are talking about Rory Trent, who is a master of Malcolm Su Kung Fu in Brisbane here.
Yes.
And also is a disciple of Chen Zhonghua in the Chen style practical method, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool, man. So you've got a few notches on your belt right there.
Yeah, I've enjoyed learning about Tai Chi and how the body works, and how to try to train the body. Yeah, and obviously I started the group because I think there was a lack of training partners during COVID, and so it was nice to get out, and I wanted to see if there was other people who had a similar interest to me. As in, there wasn't many groups. I looked around, there wasn't any really. So I thought, well, if you build it, maybe they'll come.
And they did, There you go. And Sam, so what do you get out of push hands? Because I mean, there's this whole controversy about what push hands is, and where it should fit and all that shit, right? So what do you get out of it? I mean, who cares what people think what it should be, but what do you get out of it?
I don't really care what people think. I think that I get lots of things, personal development. It sort of builds character.
Fair enough.
To be able to touch hands with somebody and deal with pressure or confrontation, or also learning to adapt, learning to have flexibility of mind and body and spirit. I think all these things are important. And there's some strength training and also mental training to it. So I think all of these things, it builds your levels of coordination, balance. Definitely can improve your posture if you're attuned to it. So as a, chiropractor, I think it's good.
Well, that's a professional opinion right there. Educated professional opinion right there.
Yeah. I think it's good. It's healthy. I think there's all different schools that people practice, but a lot of things that people have in common is actually push hands, like within the Taichi world, I guess. And even within push hands, I suppose there's a lot of different styles, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's on a spectrum, right? Like, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a safe form of
Similar
interpersonal engagement, right?
Yeah,
Without
similar
getting,
principles,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, without bashing each other or like slamming
That's
everyone
right.
on the
I think
ground.
I find it's a good training tool, and if you can practice with people from different backgrounds, why not? You get to try what you've learned on different people, different sizes and shapes from different backgrounds. That's great. It means you're actually testing what you've learned in a way.
Absolutely right. I mean, getting to test your stuff on someone with a beautiful body like me is quite a privilege, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you very much. And I'm just basically trying to get different people's views of how they view the practice of push hands.
Yeah, look, I think it's a chance to apply anything you might have learned from your Tai Chi practice for sure.
Rough crowd. So apparently this gentleman right here is known as the local elbow cannon.
Oh, yes.
Um,
Warned me about that.
So, hey man, you've been playing with the group for a while now, and you're a regular participant. And I'm just basically asking everybody's own view or what they get out of the push hands practice, especially like what we do here. Because, there's all kinds of controversies or religious arguments about what push hands should or shouldn't be. And leaving all that aside, I mean, what do you get out of it? Like, why do you do it? Why do you come here and play with these guys?
Okay. Why and what?
I mean, especially coming from a striking background, right? I mean, it's not like you can't fight. So what's in it for you to do push hands when you are already a competent striker and a fighter?
I guess it's its own sort of basket or niche, and the skills that are used in it, what we do here, they have a role to play, whether it's your own sensitivity, your own understanding of movement, or just testing yourself a little bit with guys that actually have a strong frame and are able to manipulate your position, which is important even if you're grappling or you're about to engage with someone. Once not everyone punches or strikes, someone will grab you. So can you control that moment and take advantage of it? So training with guys that are actually quite skilled at that particular moment, which is push hands, and the style of push hands, there's quite a bit of benefit there. And I'm learning about my own body and structure, finding my own weaknesses. So it's good. I don't mind expanding my box to look at other systems and methods and integrate it. So, which is a big part of training. I think should be part of everyone's training. That basically sums up
Cool.
what I get out of it.
And as a striker, right, who's been involved in a lot of security work, do you find? I mean, obviously, I can imagine that you can't directly only have striking skills in that kind of work where you need to subdue and contain
100%,
threats, right?
100%,
So,
striking is like a last resort. Once you strike someone, it's not just about, I struck someone, I can defend myself. You've got legal ramifications, you've got injuries that can happen. There's all sorts of ramifications. So striking is always a last resort. So you definitely need to know how to control someone with your hands, from a touch. So actually security work is mainly about that. Once you touch someone, can you control them while they're, going crazy? Can you hold them stable and take advantage of that position while you yourself are stable and not being thrown around? So again, that just ties into an aspect that we practice here with it, the push hands. It's very controlled, very stable focus, and if you lose your stability, why? and you got the chance to look at that and go into it. Just like any sort of grappling, whether you're on the floor or you do your stand-up, it's all the same. You've got to learn from that art and just utilize it.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool.
Cheers, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for your time.
Here, right? And now I can push you off my dantian. It's like a dantian, it's like a ballast, right? So that's also not what I want to do.
Rory, so you've been a member of this Old People at the Park group for some time now, and being a lifelong martial artist and a highly ranked teacher, how do you approach push hands? What's your strategy? What are you trying to achieve when you push hands with the guys, other than making them look stupid?
Well, I'm working on that part in depthly, but yeah, look, being one of the oldest here and having a real affinity to the internal martial arts, which I have done since I was probably 26 or 27 years of age. So back in those days, I was learning hardcore kung fu, hardcore conditioning, hardcore power, hardcore training. So at 26, I was feeling pretty strong and powerful. And my teacher said, okay, it's time to learn Tai Chi. And at that point in my life, I'm thinking, I don't want to learn Tai Chi. I'm learning this hardcore stuff. So one lesson of Tai Chi, and I did it every day since then. So probably 26, 27 years of age. But then about 8 years ago, I moved into a slightly different type of Tai Chi, which is practical method Tai Chi under Master Chen, Zhong He. And so then my Tai Chi perceptions changed dramatically, but the way I perceive my training hasn't changed much. So my perception of training is allowing energy to come in and just see where my frame is exposed, see where my frame is being disrupted, and really just focusing mostly on that, and then sending energy back into my partner to see where they might react strongly or how they might react to whatever I'm doing at that time, and then see if I can find like what I call the database of experience, meaning I do this kind of movement and this person reacts this way, but then so do all of these guys. So then I start to build a pattern of reaction-based, counter-based application of Tai Chi. That's my original perception of Tai Chi, but now it's very, very different to what I do. So now I'm training, what I would call, real Tai Chi, meaning an internal motion and mechanisms to create power and energy. But more importantly for me with the Tai Chi is how do I create this action and that pulls my base down very, very strongly, such as deep rooting. And then just see how I'm reacting to any power coming through. And then, of course, in training, trying to adapt that into technique and using exact rotations as opposed to physical force, which is so easy to do, particularly when you've trained something as long as I did. There was a lot of undoing as much as there was developing.
Cool. And as a veteran of striking and weapons work, how do you see what you train in Tai Chi push hands, what you practice in Tai Chi push hands, or what you refine in Tai Chi push hands fit into all that?
Well, I still use the Malcolm Su Kung Fu methodology, which is, for example, if you can see me here, I'm coming in, I'm striking, I'm using my power to come in, but if I get trapped, then I'll use my Tai Chi to break the seal and then come back through anyway. So my objective is only ever to just clear the path to the target, and I find Tai Chi very subtly can bring a guard down or take a stance into a vulnerable position, as I then might come in with, what we'd say heavy hands.
And, your striking methodology is very traditional in the sense that it's more like, go forward, take no prisoners, blitzkrieg kind of approach, right?
Yeah, look, it's don't hesitate, don't wait, don't hesitate. All of those normal kind of fighting philosophies, don't allow them to lead the dance. You want to be the lead in the dance. You want to always try and make sure that they're trying to follow you as opposed to you reacting to them. We have a bit of a philosophy in the Malcolm Su Kung Fu is that you want to position yourself in a way to eliminate most of their options. And then the only option they have is the technique is designed to deal with that option. So if you try any other option, it's just not going to get there. But the option that I leave you is the technique is designed to clean that path directly. So that's the methodology in fighting, is to position yourself in a way to eliminate as many options as you can and attack in a way that creates a reaction that that they're already going to do because of the amount of training you put in and so on. But we strike with battering rams, palms, ball and chain striking mostly. spearing with the knuckle into the vulnerable areas of the body. So it's very kung fu. It's not your traditional punching. It's very, very different. It's ball and chain energy, we would say, and compression, which obviously the Taichi assists dramatically.
And so my last question would be along the same lines. So a lot of people have this idea that the kind of stuff that you use in push hands, whether it's Taijiquan or something else, they don't really work under pressure and under speed. And someone who works always under pressure, under power, under speed, how do you find the mechanics that you're working with in push hands in their usability in that format?
Yeah, well, look, I always say that people don't realize the speed of things in real terms, in what's called real world, right? So anybody who's a keyboard warrior and, champions in their own mind, if you haven't worked with someone really, really trying to get to you, someone really trying to take your head off, someone's really trying to take you to the ground, you have no idea how to deal with that. It doesn't matter your amount of training. So you have to pressure test. So the way we do it is it's creating steel, you've got to use the hot and cold method. So you want to use the two ends for tempering. So you want to use the soft styles to start to build to build theory, to build techniques and develop theories and so on. But then you've got to just throw yourself in the fire and then just see what gets forged from that. So I feel like if you don't train under that pressure, you have no chance under that pressure, as far as I'm concerned.
And you have no problem bringing out your work that you explore in your push hands in that environment?
Of course, yeah. Look, I'm always happy to try and temper myself, right? Because that's what it's called. I mean, I had a massive luxury training at the Malcolm Su Kung Fu School back in the day. On any given night, there's 100 people there.
Yeah.
So you're tempering against multitudes of different types of human bodies.
Yeah.
I don't have that luxury now, so of course I just take what I can get at the moment. So, all the guys are awesome in their way, and what I love about this group is that they working in their way, I'm working in my way, and everyone's happy to just do that, which suits me to the ground because I'm in my kung fu environment the whole time. So this gives me a whole different field of experience.
Which is fantastic because it gives you a broad range of experiences without having to find 200 people.
Yeah, exactly, and with like-minded people, right?
Yes.
Because there's no ego, there's no intention to hurt, there's only intention to discover and develop, right? And for me, that's the optimum learning environment.
Absolutely, my thoughts exactly. Thank you so much, Rory, and I'll let you get back into the fray.
I want to let someone touch your hand here, right? Like the bouncer. Yeah? So I'm just creating the...
You'll have to marry them if they touch your dantian.
That's it. So here, I'm stretching you, like, so I have feel the certain close, you feel that, right?
Yeah.
But now here, this is just the beginning, right? Now, I don't go and push like this from here, right? I can do it, but I'll be resisting, double with it, right? So I just make space. Until the movement I want to eventuate, which will depend on your body. See how much my body is changing?
You gotta feel what you're doing.
Because you're resting on the stretch, right?
Yeah.
And now we can go.
Hey, Aaron. So you've been coming to this push hands group for a while now, and you've been representing your approach and your art and your strategy. So I would like to ask you, different people approach the practice of push hands differently. So can you spare a few thoughts on your own personal approach to push hands?
Well, for me, it's the art of my own awareness and being able to push with all different styles and different minds allows me to practice my refining of my awareness and through how I view my body, how it interacts with the world. It's a joy to be able to practice this with people.
I can definitely tell the way you push hands. You're always, your spirit is gathering within and you're trying to maintain your awareness within yourself. So it's a pleasure to see the joy comes through. And in terms of specific things, are you looking for a specific thing in the opponent or partner, or are you I know that I've seen you take people to the edge and let them find the solution to correct themselves, which is not very common, unfortunately, but in that way, I've seen you help a lot of people. So I was just wondering, what do you actually look for when you push hands, like in your inner experience?
Well, for me, while looking at my own awareness and my own gaps in my awareness, that allows me to find the gaps in my partner's awareness as well. So taking someone to a point of where that gap is without being forceful, so their ego isn't engaged, so the competitive nature doesn't kick in, so they don't miss the lesson or the understanding or the opportunity to see it. When people are triggered, they're less likely to see those gaps because they feel threatened or they feel
That's right.
Fear of whatever is
Yeah.
going on within themselves. So that's part of the joy of sharing that awareness.
And it definitely comes through, and I can see how you don't let people get compulsively carried into their flight and fight response. At that point, they're not really learning at all, they're just reacting, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
And
So
this
we-
got, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Just the reacting thing, it's about responding, how we respond to each other, I think, is being present. When we're reacting, it's that idea of stuck in the past, that's just happened, so I'm holding on to that, and then that spirals that trigger, that continuous conflict or suffering.
It's actually really refreshing to see your commitment to your values and your principles in the push hands and how you try to not get carried away. And it's this kind of segues nicely into my next question, which is, what do you get out of it? Like, what do you get out of the push hands practice? You kind of alluded to some of the things before, but what is the value in it for you specifically?
Well, it helps me to refine myself. It helps me to refine how I engage with the world and engage with myself. So as force comes in, I'm able to see where I meet that force, be it energetical or be it physical or mental or whatever the intent is. And that practice allows me to refine my subtlety of awareness.
And that's awesome. And it sounds like it sounds to me like what you're like basically saying there is that push hands practice that you do has broader implications to your life beyond just pushing hands with people.
Absolutely. So how I engage with people, like my job is I work with general public and a lot of people, and so push hands has taught me how to engage when I speak to someone, being present and calm, and how I engage that person with that feeling allows me to so people aren't being triggered, so I can get to the core of what the issue is or help that particular person. So and that's what I bring to that's what I take from my experience with push hands into my life.
Thank you very much. And I think it's very important because if you limit yourself to like a balance game or a domination game of another person physically, you tend to miss out on some of those things that can actually make you a better person or make your life better across the board, right?
Absolutely. I absolutely agree.
Great, and thank you so much, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
3, 2, 1, cut.
So see if you push my knee with collapse now, right?
Yes.
So I'm letting my skeleton gently rise up. The flesh melts off the skeleton in such a way that my joints are inflating and everything is resting on the joints inflated, right? So I'm going to guide that by filling between the little soft, like the bones of the foot, right? Tibia and fibula, knee, hip. So still filling and everything is resting into those. See? Yeah, right? Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, how's it going, Joey?
I can't complain. Hey, so I was going to ask you, I've been asking Adrian and a bunch of other people about what they make out of push hands and what they get out of the push hands practice. So what's your take on it? Why do you turn up at bloody 7 in the morning here every weekend?
Why do I pitch up? Because I find the more I do it, the better my body feels. And it's a constant working on all your problems that you've accumulated. So every day, I don't know what I'm coming against. It might be, oh, my hip's not working properly today, or my ankle's not working, or even my big toe or pinky. I don't know. And it's that thing is what's impeding my push hands practice. I guess that's why I do it, because it's over time, it maintains my health and I enjoy it.
Fair enough. And so you've done a lot of other martial arts, right? So do you find that the push hands practice helps your other martial arts practice in any way, or is it just a separate thing in your mind?
Oh, no. It's all. If you can open and close your hips and shoulders, if you've got good balance and connection with the floor, if you can relax your mind and let your body sink, it doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're doing it internal or external, it's going to help, because if you're more connected, then your power will be stronger.
Awesome. And as a very experienced acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and a body worker, so do you find that there are things that you can do in push hands that will be a hindrance rather than a benefit?
No, actually, no. Oh, look, no, there's a caveat on that. That is, everything you do, if you do it incorrectly, you can screw it up. But if you're doing it correctly, then it only helps you get better. And I find that it unblocks lots of areas in my body to allow the circulation to flow.
So I'd imagine you're using your experience from your therapeutics and your other martial arts to kind of go to a sort of like a safe place where you know that things are correct.
That's right. And the other thing is, by practicing, it helps you to actually understand how your body works and how your patients move. So remember, if you're going to hurt somebody, you have to know how to fix them. The two aren't separate. If you only hurt somebody, that's not working. You've got to understand how they are to help them. And by helping them, you understand how you could hurt them if you wanted to, but that's just not the way that I am.
Cool. Thank you, Seth.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time. Cheers. And have fun.
Have fun.
Last time he said to me, I can't even feel that. So we had just
Oh, nice.
I go to the back and just, not so much the foot doing it, but the hip doing it. And
Oh, nice.
that was, he could say, qua.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's nice.